The galaxy's most powerful species had always looked down on humanity. From the Zarati Dominion, known for their colossal plasmaforged dreadnoughts, to the insectoid Vex with their relentless swarms, every alien race in the Galactic Conclave had their place at the top. But humanity? Humanity was an afterthought, their presence barely noticeable. That is, until the UNS Retribution, humanity's first deep space battleship, entered the Grand Armada Review, a long-standing tradition where the most advanced ships of the Conclave's races showcased their power. As the Retribution glided silently into view, the laughter started. Admiral Krell of the Zarati Dominion was the first to speak, his armored mandibles clicking with amusement.
"Pathetic," he hissed.
"That tin can won't survive a single volley from our weakest frigate." His words echoed through the chamber, as the mighty Zarati fleet flexed their muscle, showcasing their strength for the entire galaxy. The Vex Prime Swarm Lord followed, his bioluminescence flashing in mockery. "No shields, no plasma lances," he pulsed. "Just kinetic slugs?
How quaint."
Even the normally composed Ilthari diplomats exchanged glances of disbelief, their thoughts clearly mocking the outdated human ship. Captain Elias Vance of the UNS Retribution stood silently on the bridge, facing the mockery with calm determination. His crew bristled under the insults, but Vance remained cool. "Let them laugh," he said, a smirk tugging at his lips. "Let's see how they react when we show them what this tin can really do." The Conclave's war games were intended to be a display of dominance. The Zorati and Vex had already obliterated their simulated enemies with ease. Then, as a joke, the Vex Swarm Lord suggested, "Let the humans try, for entertainment." The rules were simple: survive a full assault from a Zorati battlegroup. No one, not a single member of the Conclave, believed the Retribution would last 10 seconds. The simulation began, and the Zorati fleet, consisting of 3 plasma cruisers and their mighty dreadnought, surrounded the lone human vessel. Admiral Krell's voice boomed over the comms. "Surrender now, humans, or be erased." Captain Vance leaned forward in his chair, his voice steady and calm. "Fire the main battery." The Retribution's primary weapon wasn't a plasma cannon or a disruptor beam, it was something the galaxy had never seen before. A magnetic coil along the ship's spine hummed to life. A single tungsten slug, no larger than a cargo container, accelerated to 0.1% the speed of light. The Zorati sensors barely registered the projectile before it struck. The first cruiser disintegrated in an instant. Its shields were irrelevant against the kinetic energy of the projectile moving at that speed. The slug continued on its path, punching through the second cruiser, then the third. Finally, the slug slammed into the dreadnought's core reactor, causing a catastrophic chain reaction. In one shot, the Zorati fleet was gone. The Conclave's laughter died instantly. Silence filled the war room. The Vex Swarm Lord's bioluminescence flickered in shock, while the Ilthari diplomats whispered among themselves in hushed tones, their faces pale. Admiral Krell's mandibles trembled as he turned to the comms, his voice hoarse and incredulous. What was that?" Captain Vance folded his arms, his expression unreadable. "A railgun," he said, his voice steady. "Old human concept. We just scaled it up." Commander Lee, his exo-commander, added, "No fancy shields to overload, no energy weapons to deflect. Just good old-fashioned physics." The Conclave had spent millennia perfecting energy weapons, assuming kinetics were obsolete. But humanity had taken a primitive idea and weaponized it beyond reason. The Retribution wasn't weak, it was efficient. While the rest of the galaxy relied on fragile shield matrices and delicate plasma conduits, humanity built something simple. Something unstoppable. The Zorati had dismissed them. Now they understood their mistake. The Conclave, once so sure of their superiority, had learned a terrifying truth that day: never underestimate humanity. They could take the weakest, most outdated idea and turn it into the deadliest weapon in the galaxy. And they could do it with one shot. In the aftermath, Captain Vance's voice resonated through the comms once more. "We don't need to be the biggest fleet or the most advanced. We just need to be the most dangerous." The Zorati and Vex, now humbled and fearful, were left in stunned silence as the Retribution glided through the void, its crew unfazed by the massive display of power they had just unleashed. Humanity had made its mark on the Conclave, and it wasn't about to let anyone forget it. The galaxy was now fully aware that, no matter how primitive their weapons seemed, humanity had found a way to turn simplicity into a weapon of unimaginable destruction. The laughter had stopped. Now, the galaxy would tremble at the thought of humanity's next move.
Liked the story?
Hit subscribe and stay tuned, because humanity's journey has only just begun.